Okay, welcome to episode 4. Is this episode 4? Yeah, episode 4. We're going to be talking about 10 things that we've learned by using Squarespace. So far, anyway, we're still continuing to learn. Okay. Number 1, I think, is what you put on here, or what you had mentioned just previously, was landing pages. So even though they have, what do they call it? I can't remember.
They call it
Squarespace's
cover pages.
cover pages, yeah, which are kind of like landing pages, but they're not. They don't have the capabilities to really. I don't know. You're not going to get the same as something like lead pages or Instapage. It's not. It's user friendly, I guess. It's kind of
Right.
limited.
Very limited to what you can do with the cover pages. I mean, the first time I saw them, I thought that they were landing pages, but in reality, it's almost like a one-pager title and text and image, and that's it. And they do have the opportunity for you to put a call to action on the cover pages, but it's not. Yeah, it's not the same thing as having an Instapage or a landing page, like a real one made with all the capabilities.
Right, and it's you can't really add a button. Well, Squarespace allows you to add a button, but it's not. I don't know. It's not user friendly, and it just I don't know. It doesn't mesh as well. So it's good for, like you're saying, if you want to promote something specific, like, hey, here's a particular page, or an office. I guess I could see it as like an office, like a location. Like, hey, this is our specific location and the details about it, maybe. But as far as like selling a product on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 1. Number 2. Hi, Gary, by the way. Saw Gary joined here. One thing that is good about it is if you have somebody who's able to, or who wants more hands-on, a client who wants more hands-on support, you could easily give them access to the website. Now, the caveat to that is that when you give them access to the website, they can edit and they could add images, change their logos, they can do everything. But the bad part about that is that they can edit and change and do everything. There's a reason they hired you as a client, or for somebody who's designing it. If they don't know how to design, or they don't know how to make it look good, then it could really mess up something, because there's no way to lock a page and say, like, don't mess with this page particularly right here, because at this point you're going to be really out of luck, because we can't change it, especially if something's been done with some CSS.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it's really customer user friendly, I think, it's a good thing. Which a lot of people, I don't know, typical websites are going to need. But as far as e-commerce, that's where we could get into another thing that we've learned there. As far as the e-commerce.
Yeah, as far as the e-commerce, I think it has the most basic capabilities that you can have on an e-commerce website. And I mean, bottom line, we've made a few e-commerce websites on Squarespace, but these are, companies that are starting out right now. They probably don't need all the bells and whistles of a full on e-commerce website, which eventually I think they will need. So either Squarespace, adapts to that and gets more competitive on e-commerce, or they'll have to move to more of an e-commerce friendly platform, such as BigCommerce or Shopify.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is like, so Squarespace, when I've been doing some research, is they never intended to be an e-commerce website. They wanted to be like a beautifully designed website for the common user. And then if you wanted to sell a couple of things on your website, sure, you could sell it, and we're e-commerce. But they were never really trying to compete directly with Shopify. They were more trying to compete with like somebody like Wix, or I can't even think of another one because I don't really care for those websites. But something user generated to make beautiful websites because the Wix templates or WordPress templates aren't as elegant. So that's one thing. But now you see a transition where they've started in the last, what was it, the month or so, that they've created apps to specifically gear in and like compete with Shopify. So, I mean, the customer base has said, hey, we like Squarespace. We want it to be e-commerce, but they're just still not there yet with Shopify. Shopify is still by far killing it. And BigCommerce is doing really well too. Whoops, clicked the wrong button here. Okay. Another thing I would say is that to design a website how you want it, you're not going to be able to, if you have a big vision anyway, you're going to have to learn some CSS or know somebody or get a hold of somebody or figure out online, do a tutorial to learn some CSS. You can design a basic website, but if you want a functionality of like this button to be a different color or for it to change or transition or for something to happen, it's very good practice to try to learn some CSS and understand that, or find somebody who does, to create the website that you want.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Now, would that be number 4?
Yeah, that's number 4. So CSS, I mean, which that's not really like code per se. It is a type of language with code, but I think it's one of the easier ones to learn. And there's a bunch of people out there. So there's, what's the resource? It's like answers.squarespace.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that's a great resource to ask somebody how they can, center an image or how to change the text color of an image. If you put a text on an image, there's people on there who are developers or people who know code that could just send you the code and you could be like, oh, okay. And they give you step-by-step on like putting it into the website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, there's like a love-hate relationship with that because it depends on what template you're using.
Mm-hmm.
The code will change and vary. So like when you search for those specific things, you have to make sure that you're searching for the specific template that you're using.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. I kind of want
5 would be the templates. I think they have a pretty good range of templates.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they use those big images and those big graphics, and the fact that they're responsive for as far as like mobile optimized. So you have to make that.
Yeah.
Again, it could be like a love-hate relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But we've experienced a little bit of that. Designing something for for a desktop version and then looking at it how it's going to transition from to mobile, and sometimes it doesn't work as good as you want it to, and that's just a little bit trickier to mess around with, try to make both blend well together.
Right. Even the tablet, it's kind of, everybody thinks about the mobile side, so like the mobile phone and then desktop, but you also, which is good. Another good thing about Squarespace, they do make it tablet optimized too. So I think that's a feature, a good feature, something that we've learned. So if you're somebody who's not really heavily invested into, making sure you have a developer and somebody who's a graphic design person to like create your website, you're able to make it mobile friendly, just do it one time. Whereas some websites give you more functionality, but sometimes functionality could be a hindrance. It could cost you more time, or you could mess up something else. So this simplifies it for everyone. Oh, dang it. Okay, number 6. Whoops. Trying to type this all out. Okay. I would say developer mode. So it does have the features that you can go into developer mode and change things that are structured from Squarespace or designed by Squarespace. So you do have that ability. If you do know code, if you do know HTML, JavaScript, or anything like that, and have a pretty good understanding, you can go in and, I mean, high caution, very high caution, because if you do mess up something and don't know how to put it back, actually, no, I think you could put it back pretty easily, right? If you just turn off developer mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's easy. But if you wanted to go around and play with it, if you like the style of the template and you're like, I love Squarespace, I want to use Squarespace, I don't want to develop my own stuff, I don't want to do anything with anything else, you could use the developer mode and design a website specifically to the way that you want it. But it's kind of a give or take relationship. Like I said, if you love Squarespace and love that they do all the maintenance and the security features, that could be something that would be interesting for someone who's a developer but that doesn't want to do all the hosting, the domain, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Development. I guess with each one that we're doing, it's kind of like there's a positive and a negative side to each one of them. Like developer mode,
Yeah.
like you're saying, is a great idea, but at the same time, you could, should know a little bit of coding. So I don't know if we put that as a feature or not, but I think that is a good feature. Is that pretty much anybody with some type of vision of a website, we've learned, can create a website. Now, okay, I don't say everybody, but I don't know. I don't know how would you describe that. I don't think that everybody could design a Squarespace website. I mean, they could create one, but as far as it looking good and making sure it's SEO optimized and all of those.
I think anyone can do it. If you give them, 2 months to complete it, and they're self-driven,
Right.
have a little bit of an artistic or a design, knowledge, they could probably, make a pretty good Squarespace website. That's the thing. Like, we never used Squarespace, and we started using it, and I would say we kind of became experts, in a few months. It's very easy to learn.
Well, about 9 months actually. We've been doing it for a while actually.
Well, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think it's very easy to learn, and there's a lot of information out there. It's not like it's a new platform.
Right.
There's a lot of information out there, a lot of tutorials, a lot of help online too. So even for, like I said, like it depends on each template, and there is information for each template out there. So
Right. It's just a time investment. That's something that people, nobody told us up front. We're thinking, hey, because the information is out there. You're thinking, hey, I'll watch 5 or 10 hours of videos, or I'll watch tutorials, or I'll practice for 5 or 10 hours. It really does take the time, just like anything. You're going to have to learn, then practice, and then learn and practice. And like you're saying, it's going to take at least 2 months. That's if you have no knowledge at all about what you're doing.
right.
Maybe a little bit longer.
I think something bad is when you create new content on a page,
Mm-hmm.
you try to move that around when you click and drag it, or yeah, like the clicking and dragging of certain blocks and stuff. Sometimes it just doesn't work. It's kind of buggy, or
Mm-hmm.
kind of hard to manipulate if you don't know, exactly what you're doing. It's like very minuscule things could change the appearance of, where it goes.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's another reason why, if you don't know Squarespace that well, you should hire somebody or should reach out for help, at least with some things to help you with that. Because if you go in there and you start moving things around, for example, we have a clothing company that they add new arrivals, but if they don't add them in a certain way, then it will distort the size of each image and it just messes up the whole page. Well, if she didn't know how to, I mean, luckily we knew how to do that and tell her to help her, but it can get very frustrating trying to make sure that every image is like the same size so it looks good on the website. Then you have that problem with mobile, and so it's definitely something to, I don't know, it takes practice and technique to learn how to do that sort of thing, which is frustrating. It should be easier to do, but they do have the capabilities, I guess. So, I mean, it's there, but it's not the best capability. So if somebody who works for Squarespace is watching this, that's a big thing that you guys should probably work on. All right, we're on number 9 now. It's just
what else? I mean, okay, I would say Squarespace is not for everyone.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Not for everyone.
Well, maybe it will benefit certain type of industries, like, you know, photographers or bloggers. We haven't worked with like musicians or anything like that, but there's a lot of templates geared towards, you know, musicians and stuff like that. But I think, I mean, yeah, going back to, you know, they wanted to build beautiful websites. I think they also they knew what kind of audience they wanted, you know, and people who wanted to work with. Because I mean, we did a website for a lawyer using Squarespace, and it actually turned out really good. You know, it looked really good. But to some extent, like, you don't see very many, you know, lawyer websites using, you know, Squarespace.
Right. Oh, I've seen 2 other ones since then, actually. So I don't know. I mean, but yeah, that would be one to. It's like an industry where you're not going to have. I don't know what the right term would be, but like you can have. It's just going to be plain text and images. It's not going to have a bunch of fancy features. People who are going to seek out a lawyer, they don't want to be wowed by a awesome slideshow video. They want to know, hey, how can you help me and how can I get a hold of you? So if it's more for informative, I think it can look good. It's informative, but it isn't for, I don't know. Maybe it is for everybody, but it's not for everybody at this stage of their business. So like starting out to, you know, X amount of dollars, it could stay in this e-commerce, or, you know, once it grows, then the business may need to change from that platform. But like we were saying earlier, Squarespace may grow with the business. And I particularly asked a guy on Squarespace, like, hey, how much traffic can you actually handle? Because, you know, if I have a client whose business just explodes, can they handle 1,000 unique visitors a day or more? And their biggest thing that they wrote back to me was that, I don't know if you remember during the Super Bowl last year, they did Sleeping with, what was it? It was the Dreaming with something Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, yeah.
Jeff Bridges, yeah. And they had a couple million visitors go to the website from just the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if that's the capability of Squarespace for everybody or not, but that's what he's saying, is that they're going to have enough power, they're going to have enough ability to send that many people to the website. But it's just been buggy for us with the, you know, a couple hundred customers visiting the website, that I don't know if you did a 10 multiplier on that, if it would really hold up like he's saying. But that's something to explore. So if anybody does have a couple thousand unique visitors each month, and you want to build a Squarespace website, or Try it out. Let us know.
Now you were talking about you talked to some of the Squarespace people. What would you say about their customer service and their ability to answer your questions?
I would give the customer service, if I was doing like an 8 out of 10, or like a scale, like an 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. I would say most of the time they were able to solve my issue. And if it was something that they could help me with, they did. Now, there's some things that was like, I was asking, they're like, hey, can you help me with this? And it was like, well, you need to know code, or you can go here. But they gave me an outlet every time to say, hey, here's the resource to go to, like answers.squarespace, or you can follow them here. Like, they can't directly help you with like coding, but as far as the functionalities with the website, they were, I mean, above and beyond. The live chat is great. Sometimes you sit in queue for 30 minutes, but that's just the way it is sometimes. So I would say definitely the speediness of getting a hold of somebody. Sometimes it does take 30 minutes. It's been as fast as like instantly before. And then you do have the option to email them. I don't prefer to do that one unless it's after hours, just because I want an immediate response, probably like most of you guys do. And it was pretty straightforward. So I do like that. So like I was saying, I think I would give them an 8.5, 9 out of 10 as far as customer service. Each person was friendly, and nobody really seemed to be getting frustrated with me, even if I was like, well, are you sure that this isn't another way to do it? And they're like, no, this is the wrong way to do it. Or like, yelling at me. They were always pretty good customer service, which is a relief, because a lot of people that you deal with in the website industry, like people that I was dealing with a couple weeks prior to the Squarespace, was like domain people or DNS records, changing over websites and all that. Man, the customer service in that industry is ridiculous. I've talked to 3 or 4 companies and they are horrible. So Squarespace does give you a breath of fresh air in that aspect.
So that was probably number 10 right there, right? Customer service.
Yeah, customer service. Yeah. We said 10 plus, so we should do at least 11, right? And we've been on for 50, so about 30 minutes. So I guess we can do just one more if you have one off the top of your head. If not, we can close it up.
Well, I was thinking about the metrics.
The what? The metrics?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one.
Because they do offer, I would say, I mean, to some extent, it's some of the basic stuff as far as metrics.
Right.
But it's still, I mean, some of it is still some valuable information as far as, who visits your website using, what type of device and what type of, operating platform they're using too.
Right.
I mean, for some companies and some people, it could be beneficial. It also talks about visitor views and page views, I think, and some of the popular items in your page and stuff like that. So as far, I mean, I think it gives you a good chunk of information using their their metrics. But yeah, I think we use some of the AppSumo products. Which, do we have to say we're not endorsing them or something?
Yeah, we're not endorsing them. Or we're not an affiliated program. Hey, but that'd be a good idea. Maybe we should be.
Yeah.
Love their products. Yeah, so we're not going to talk anymore about it. But anyway, yeah, we use some of their stuff.
Right, to get other information that Squarespace doesn't offer.
Mainly Google Analytics. So you can get Google Analytics for free without having AppSumo or similar features. And so we're not affiliate of Google either. But you just Google Analytics or create an account. You just sign up with an account. You type in your email address. They'll send you a code, and then it starts tracking from there. It has a couple more features than what the Squarespace does. But if you just want basic information like refer sources, you can find out, hey, I put a bunch of ads on Facebook, or I put a bunch of pictures on Facebook. You can actually see like, hey, 30% of my customers come from my Facebook page. Now, and that's would be very helpful if you're trying to do like a Facebook ad or you want to put a pixel in the website. Squarespace does and it allow you to put a pixel on the website. So that's something that we found out too. Maybe that could be number 12 since we're talking about it. But so you can do everything that a normal website would do without a developer, I believe, or the most core functionalities.
Right. This is completely random, but I was thinking it probably doesn't have to do anything with Squarespace, but it has to do with our 10 ideas every day. It would be awesome or really cool to invite like James Altucher or like Gary Vee to join our blabs. I mean, it'll have to be like a good topic, obviously, but I think it would be really, really cool.
Yeah. Or hey, whoever else is watching this, you can join too. It doesn't matter. We're not saying we're just going after the big dogs. But okay. So we ended up with 12 actually. Now I can't think of the 12th one. What's the 12th? Okay. All right. I think that's it, unless you have one right off the head, and we can do 13. If not, we'll close it out. Nope. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Like we said, we'll have at least 2 to 3 videos each week, posting about 10 things, typically about small business, social media, just ways to grow your business or improve yourself, or just tools that, I don't know, maybe we should expand that or really get a line going. See, you're watching the early episodes, but I think it'd be cool to like at least give an overarching theme, because this is a product we use, not necessarily like something to grow your business, which could grow your business, but so we'll have to think about that.